We're live.
We're live.
On our
Look,
side.
I've got to just ask, how many counselors does it take to figure out StreamYard?
Apparently, it takes at least 3.
Mhm.
At
We're
least
like,
3.
what
I
is
don't know if it's even working.
Look, I'm going to give it a couple of seconds because we're waiting for some of our friends to get on. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
And then we can get past some of our robotic
Yes. Are you able to see on Facebook who's joining us? Or right now is it just
right now I just see the little eye icon that no one's there yet.
okay?
I think I'm watching it. I'm watching it now on and I have the volume down so that we don't get any feedback.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, so this is giving me the option to share this video with some friends. So I'm gonna do that, y'all.
Okay, cool.
They're probably like, okay, you already shared it, but hey, I'm just going
You
with what
can't share too much.
Right.
I don't think you can, right?
Especially when it's the first time and we're getting the kinks out and trying to figure out what works and how.
And the beautiful thing is, we are okay with being foolish if we have to, right?
Yeah. It be like that sometimes.
Yeah, listen, and I mean, probably daily for me. I think every day I've probably made a fool out of myself. At least once.
Especially with technology. I'm an old school kind of girl, and they want me to get on all this highfalutin technology. So that's my word. I'm sticking with it.
It's so funny because I remember when Ben kept on saying to me, "You're gonna have to embrace technology, Shaniqua. Come out of the past and just get with it." Like Instagram. Somebody was talking to me about IG the other day, and I was thinking they were talking about LinkedIn. I was like, yeah, IG. You know, because they said I saw your stuff on IG, and I was like, oh, thinking when's the last time I updated LinkedIn? And then I was like, oh, Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, that thing. I still remember seeing Facebook for the first time. This is what happened. I kid you not. My friend it was when it was still for college kids. And so my college wasn't on Facebook yet, but the college that I had transferred from was. And so I went to my friend's dorm to visit her, and she's on her computer, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she was like, it's Facebook. And I was like, what is Facebook? And she was like, it's just this like way to keep in contact with people, and like you post pictures and blah, blah, blah. And I looked at her and I said, that's stupid. No one's going to do that.
And look at us now.
Here we are 15 years later.
Right.
And
it's still thriving. It's kind of like, but and it reminds me of MySpace. Do y'all remember? Did y'all?
Yeah. Oh yes, I had
MySpace was my jam.
MySpace, yes. My top 9.
Yeah, you can customize. Yes. I couldn't be stopped until one day somebody reached out to me and was like, you're a Christian, right? And I was like, yeah. Like, why is that even a question? And they're like, well, why do you have that song "Bossy" on your MySpace page?
Mind your business, because I'm feeling bossy today. That's why.
Are you okay with being a little bossy from time to time? I don't understand. But I literally back then, that was the time when I would have felt really guilty, and I changed the song. Good thing I don't really ascribe to that kind of anymore. Now, if I'm going to be confident about whatever it is that I put out, now I won't be putting out "Bossy" because I don't anymore. It's just not my anthem. So look, I'm thinking that we have given a little time in, so we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay. Sounds good.
We want to thank everybody who is watching or who will watch later in the replay for coming. Tonight we are going to talk temperament, right? And it's going to be so fun. This is going to be a very chill atmosphere, nothing formal, so to speak. We want to make sure we say right from the start that this is not meant to be counseling for anyone. If you do need counseling, if you need to set up an appointment or anything, we will definitely make sure that we put our links in the comment section so that you can set up a time to have a confidential counseling session. But this is not the platform for anything that is confidential, guys.
Right.
So if you want people to know about it, don't post it. Right?
I feel like that should be a general life philosophy.
Yes.
Listen, it should be used for social media.
Yes, we have gotten used to sharing our lives with the world. Right. Some things should remain private. So
because you can doesn't mean you should.
You should.
Right.
So yeah.
So just to kind of tell you guys about who we are, my name is Pastor Shaniqua. I'm with the Creative Counseling Network, and I'm super excited to have two of my amazing friends who are also incredible counselors, Dr. Kia Ellis and Emily Cook of the Faith-Led Counseling Group. And they are incredible. They are going to help me to really give you an idea of what temperament is. And over the course of this series, we're going to discuss the why behind the things that we do and say, how we react. Some are going to be great reasons why, and others are going to be not so great reasons why, right?
We'll work on them. We'll work on them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Dr. Kia, do you want to get us started in explaining what temperament is?
Sure. I like to explain temperament in my elevator speech, if you will. I have a business background, so I always think about elevator speeches. But I describe temperament as a set of needs, traits, and tendencies that make us who we are. That's the simplest way I know how to explain a lot of information.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when we engage with people, either just talking about temperament or in counseling settings, I hear a lot about personality quizzes and the 5 love languages and different assessments that people have already taken. And so they always go, oh, temperament. Is that like the 16 personalities? And I'd like to explain, if I could, simply what the difference between a personality quiz that someone might have taken and temperament. So I use this analogy because it's universal, and I think that everyone can picture it this way. So temperament is who you are at your core without anything attached to you. So I say that temperament is like you getting out of the shower. Okay, so fresh out of the shower, butt naked. That's temperament. Then we have character, which character is what we learn. So as we're growing up, we learn what's good, what's bad, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, what is appropriate and inappropriate. We're taught those things either verbally by the discipline and teaching of our parents, or just through experience. We take in these understandings of what things are going to help us survive and then what things are going to not help us survive. So we build what's called character. So character would be you from the shower walking into your closet. Okay. And then last we have personality. So personality is a mask. It is something that can change. So I say in this analogy, temperament is you out of the shower, character is you in the closet, personality is the outfit that you choose for that day. Okay, so you can change your personality. It's the difference between you at home and you at work, or you at church and you on the playground, or I guess we don't. The beach, yes, on the playground. I used to teach school too, so I think about playground, recess. But so it's the difference between how you behave based on where you are. If you are in a situation where you know that something will get you what you want, personality is your ability to do that. So personality is great, it's fine. But it changes so frequently that it's hard to really nail anything down with personality. So we don't do personality. We do temperament. Temperament is you, butt naked.
I like that explanation. It's so funny. And so sometimes when I have clients in the office and I'm trying to find creative ways to explain the difference between personality and temperament, I like to focus on the mask that personality is. And I say, well, let's just say that you're on your way to work, and while you're on your way, someone cuts you off, your coffee spills everywhere, and you are enraged, you are upset, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't go to work, especially if it's a people-facing job, come in there, attitude heavy, throwing things around because you're mad, because your coffee spilled or whatever, whatnot. No, what you're going to do is you're going to get in the parking lot, you're going to take that deep breath, you're going to pray, maybe bang on the steering wheel a couple times, and then you're going to put your work face on. You're going to put on the mask that is necessary. I like to say survival mask, because you're going to be at work for 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to put on that survival mask that's going to get you through the 8 hours that you need to, be at work for, that you can't bring the ugly side of what happened in the car.
Right.
And it's the same for, like, let's just say a couple's on their way to church,
Mm-hmm.
and they are having a knockdown, drag out argument in the car. Most couples are not going to go into church with that,
with
argument.
Right. Or to a party, or for a parent on their way home from work.
Yes.
You might need a second in the car because you're drained. You've got, you just need to get your composure together because you're about to go and see your kids. So then you kind of put on your happy face for your children until they go to bed.
And then you take off the mask.
Yeah.
Just like when you were talking about the clothes, Kia. Most of us, when we get home from work, we're taking something off.
Yes.
But it's not, staying on, not everything.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You don't sit at home in your work clothes.
No.
And you don't tend to keep the personality of the day on when you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And personality, it is about survival.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's based on what you're trying to get. Temperament actually determines what you're trying to get. And then personality decides how you get what you get.
And then character determines what you deem is the right or wrong way to get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like,
perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if we wanted to take a little time to talk about character in the moment, we know that it's a learned behavior, like our environment, the things that we have been taught. I like to say, like, whatever our family dynamics were, not even just family, but our friends growing up. We spend so much time at work too. Even that could play a part in how we are seeing our character unfold in some situations. And the people and situations that are tied into our character can either help bring out and the great, strengths of our temperament, or we could see some of those temperament weaknesses coming out as well, based on those environmental and learned behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to touch on two things you just said. When we talk about character, it is learned. So that means it can be unlearned. And the truth is, everyone's character is not the same. In some households, it's okay to
slam
doors when you're angry. And then in other households, it's not. So character really is based on what you've learned is appropriate and inappropriate, or acceptable and unacceptable. And so there will be times when character flaws or character differences will cause conflict. It'll cause issues. And so then we dial it back. We don't just focus on character or personality. We dial it even further back to temperament needs. And then you mentioned strengths and weaknesses. And if I could, I'd like to define that in the context of temperament, because it's very important that we understand there's some language that temperament has that is different in the context of temperament and outside of the context of temperament. So when we say strengths, those are not the things that we like about ourselves or the things that we think help us along in life. That's usually what people think when they hear, what's your greatest strength? It's the thing that you like the most, or the thing that people like the most about you. And when you hear weakness, it's the thing that you don't like, or you're trying to fix, or you try to keep under wraps. In the context of temperament, it's a very simple look at what these words mean. Temperament is needs. It's needs based. So we all have needs, and these needs don't change because our temperament remains the same throughout our lifetime. Strengths of temperament are meeting the needs that we have in healthy, godly ways. Weaknesses are meeting those needs in unhealthy, ungodly ways, or not meeting them at all. So it has nothing to do with whether or not you like a certain trait, or you like how people respond to a certain trait, which is what we usually think when we hear the word strength. It really is, I have this need and I'm meeting it in a way that is okay, that's healthy, that's good, that's godly. And a weakness is not, oh, people don't like this part of me. I talk too much, or, I'm loud, or I chew loud, or whatever. Those are what we typically think of as weaknesses, or I cry too much. I'm too emotional. But when we say weaknesses as temperament counselors, we are talking about needs that are being met in unhealthy ways or going unmet altogether.
Could you give a couple of examples, Dr. Kia or Emily, about the strengths and weaknesses? I think it's really important that you really kind of broke that down for us. Can you give a couple of examples of the strengths being met in godly ways versus the weaknesses being met in ungodly ways?
Sure.
I can start with that. I'll give an example from my own temperament. So my temperament is one that needs partnership whenever it comes to decision making and problem solving. So a strength of my temperament would be being able to partner with someone, bringing what it is that I have, what it is that I can bring to the table, and partnering with them to further a goal or reach a conclusion. A weakness of my temperament would be to essentially be a parasite, telling them, what do I need to do? Just give me this information so that I'm okay, at the expense of someone else. So that would be one example from my personal temperament, that now that I know that that's even a thing, I can be aware of and be mindful of.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. Dr. Kia, did you have something you wanted to add to that one?
That's a good one.
Thank you.
I'll share one from my temperament. I have a temperament that has a need for physical connection. It's something that we call skin hunger. So I'm a compulsive in this temperament, and so I have a compulsive need to connect physically. A strength would be petting my dog. A weakness would be becoming a prostitute. Those are kind of extreme examples, but in reality, there are so many people that are meeting these simple needs with really, really extreme responses. Mm-hmm. And so that would be the reason why I'm doing it, because my need is to connect and to physically touch. And I can do that by wearing soft clothes, or, self-soothing by having soft things that I can touch. But on the other hand, in an ungodly or unhealthy way, it would be to present myself inappropriately to get touched. So,
I love that you use that example, because we have, as counselors, we see a variety of situations and circumstances that people bring to, the couch. I always say the couch. Mm-hmm. That people bring to the couch. And I have seen and heard people, really struggle with maybe their past. If they have had a past of maybe being physically, out there in a sense. And although they have changed their lifestyle now, they struggle or wrestle with the fact that that's how they lived before. Mm-hmm. And it's not something that they could really put their finger on as to why they were that way. What was I seeking and all this other stuff. And so when you laid it out in that way, Dr. Kia, this person could be someone who who has a skin hunger, who has no idea that that's what it is, because of course they hadn't done temperament. And they are presented with opportunities that may have been ungodly ones, and they get roped into something to meet a need that they have. And now when they come to us, we get an opportunity to say, okay, this is what was happening.
Right.
Or this is maybe what was at the core of that. And these are ways that you could help yourself to avoid stepping back
in the future. Right.
That particular behavior, you know. So I think
because the need doesn't, absolutely, and the need doesn't go anywhere, and that's something that in my office on my couch, I make sure that I reiterate that the need itself is not bad. The need is what God has put in us. And he himself wants to meet the need, and then he presents opportunities for others to meet those needs. And so we want to make sure that we understand needs are not bad. It's okay to need physical touch. It's okay to need to partner. It's okay to need time alone. It's okay to need all these things that we need based on our temperament.
Right.
What's not okay is to step into poor behavior to meet those needs.
Absolutely.
We also don't focus on behavior modification. We focus on understanding what's behind the behavior in the first place. So it's not I'll give another example. One of the temperaments has a high tendency for alcoholism. And the reason is because their need is to be, to regenerate and be alone. And because we as humans can be hard on each other for people who need that, we can make them feel that they should need something different. They should need more contact with people, or they should need more interaction and more engagement. And in actuality, their need is just as valid and just as strong as those who do need that. And so what will tend to happen is, if they're in weakness, as we're talking about, the tendency is to go to alcohol, because alcohol suppresses and it removes inhibitions, and it can kind of dull the senses that are going to rise up in a person as they're trying to act outside of their natural tendency. And so the strength of needing to be alone is to get alone in appropriate times or in appropriate ways, not to neglect, but to actually take time and set boundaries and set schedules that helps you to have that alone time. So there's so many, and we're talking from a counseling perspective at this point, but there's so many issues or presenting issues that people have that are just symptoms of needs that are unmet. And so temperament and the APS, which is the analysis report that we use, is vital to help them to see that this need is there. Let's look at how you're meeting it, and then possibly ways that you can meet it that are going to actually be healthy.
Yeah. I like that. And you emphasize so much the importance of understanding that there's nothing wrong with a person having these specific needs. There's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of people that I know, and some of them have been on the couch, that have had that need to be alone, that needs time every day to file away their thoughts and just get that space, or the ones who don't need to be pushed into social situations. And for them, and I've seen it with my own eyes, those same people who really need to not be pushed and forced, they get forced into these situations, and they're looking for the drink the minute they walk through the door. Is there a beer here? What do y'all have to drink?
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with being who you are, but if it's going to get to a place where all of a sudden you've numbed and what is it people say, liquid courage?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
You have so much courage that it becomes a real problem. That's
Yeah.
when it's an issue, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's a good one. I love that you shared that one too.
Well,
I
some of my favorite people have that temperament, and so I understand it, and it's one that they're so creative. There are things that they do possess, but relational need is not one of them, and so we can't look. That's the thing with temperament. There are things that we all have within our temperament that we should celebrate, and the things that we don't have, we shouldn't berate people. It was said by some of our founders, and I love this. This stuck with me for years now. We look at an oak tree and we admire its beauty, and we look at an apple tree and admire its beauty and its fruit. What we don't do is we don't berate the apple tree for not being an oak, and we don't berate the oak for not bearing apples. And that's how we have to learn to engage each other.
right.
There are going to be things that some people don't possess, and that's okay because they possess other things.
Right.
And God has made us in such a way that all of the things that we have mesh together. They're all necessary, but we don't have to take all of that onto ourselves to make people into what we want them to be. I always throw this word in because it's a fun word, and I missed it on a test when I was in school. It's procrustianism.
Yeah.
And it's the idea of making people fit into a mold.
Right.
And so if you can look at it by image, it's you have a bed and it's one size bed. And so anyone who's too small for the bed, you stretch their legs until they fit. And anyone who's too long for the bed, you chop their legs off until they fit. So everybody's busted, but at least they're in the bed now. We don't do that. We want to build the bed to fit the person and not the other way around. So we just want to make sure that we always understand that each temperament is necessary. It's good. It's God made, and it serves its purpose. It just doesn't serve the purpose of the other temperaments. It serves its purpose. So.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's something I'm really enjoying that we're getting a chance to do this. And for those of you who are watching, we want to let you know that we are going to, over the course of this series, break down each temperament. There are 5 of them. I have a couple favorites within the the list, and we'll break them down as to what they are. If you have questions about them, please feel free, of course, to make a comment. If it's private, inbox us. We're fine with that too. But we'll break them down. We'll tell you what ours are. And I'm laughing too because Kia, when you said that you got that word wrong on the test, I was like, we must have all gotten that. I remembered the story. I remembered that this guy was literally chopping people's legs off to make them
right.
But we must have all gotten it wrong.
I'm telling you, I think it was a conspiracy. But I will never forget what procrastinanism means. Never again.
But yeah, so this is going to be a time for us to get to know you guys as well as y'all getting to know us. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to close us out. We are almost at about 30 minutes. We don't have a specific time frame for this, guys, but for those of you watching, we're going to allow this to flow with the questions and things that come through. And today, though, we feel like we've given a good basis of what.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
Scratching the surface.
Yeah, it is though, scratching the surface. There's so many elements to it, but it's going to be a really fun topic to explore. There's so much to learn from it, and we want to encourage you that if you have not already gotten your temperament assessment done, to visit our websites so that you could set up a time. I'm actually going to put the links in the comments. We have an individual opportunity for those of you, and then we also have something set up for couples as well to be able to go on and set up a session for temperament analysis, and I love it. It is a life-changing tool.
Oh yeah.
100%. 100%.
Can't overstate that. It
No.
really is and has been.
Right. And you know what?
Quick examples of the life changing. Personally, it has changed my life. I'll tell you, when I first got mine back, I had 2 really quick responses. My first response was, oh my gosh, my whole life makes sense now. And my second response was anger. Because I was angry that I didn't know this about myself for so long. And there were so many things that made sense about me once I knew my temperament, and things that I had struggled with or suffered through for years and years and years. I was 30 when I got my assessment. And so I had to kind of get myself together that it was right in God's timing. He does what he wants when he wants to. And so I needed to submit to that. But I was a little annoyed. And then the second example is my parents. My mom is also a temperament counselor. And she and my dad's assessments during our coursework. And they have been married for 41 years now. They've been together for almost 50. And their relationship, which has already been wonderful, is even better. And they're understanding themselves at, 60 years old in ways that they didn't. And they're understanding each other in ways that they didn't. And so their marriage, which was already really good, is even better. So it's got so many applications. Temperament has applications in every way you can imagine, because it's who we are. It tells us who we are and how we function. And so I'm so excited to get to dig deep and talk to people about what their needs are and what makes them tick and who they are. So I hope that we have lots and lots of engagement, because I love this stuff.
Right. Right.
I was going to actually comment too about the fact that here, all across my news feed right now, the kids in my local area are going back to school, right? So today has been a day of joy and wonder and a little bit of emotional sadness for some of the parents as their little ones went back to school. And I thought about my little one, my 7-year-old. Last year, I did traditional homeschooling with him, having not known his temperament, mind you. When he turned 7, I did it with him, and I saw the temperament results, and I was just shocked with the fact that I totally messed up by choosing homeschooling for him, because he's wired in a way where he needs a lot of social interaction.
Yeah.
And so he hasn't started back yet. He doesn't start back until the 18th. But this kid is thirsty.
Ready to get back.
He's so ready to get back. But just being able to understand how he's wired and what his temperament is now helps me to know better ways to mother him, better ways to be a parent for him, how not to break him too. And what I mean by that is sometimes we kind of put things on our kids that we think is the right thing, but we have to remember that they too are individuals and they too are created in certain ways. And so now that I know how he's wired, I'm getting him back to school. I'm going to sign him up for an extracurricular activity.
Right.
So he gets what he needs, but of course in healthy ways.
That's
right. Right.
Em, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What are some of the, I guess, implications or applications of temperament that you've seen or that you know of?
In interacting with family and friends, it has really changed the dynamic of how I approach or even think of approaching people. Finding out about temperament for myself really changed quite literally everything. I thought that there was something wrong with me. I was like, why is it that in this one area I seem to be missing something? And once I learned about my temperament, it completely changed everything. In that it answered so many questions, and I realized that what I thought was missing wasn't missing. I'm just wired differently from the rest of my family, from friends that I had been around. And I learned that what that meant, what that looked like, and it brought so much peace. And so once I found out myself, I of course wanted to do it for my family too. And one example of application of temperament in day-to-day life is once I found out my mom's temperament, it answered so many questions. My temperament is one that needs an invitation, wants to be included, but doesn't want to insert themselves for fear of rejection and various reasons. So growing up, I would see my mom maybe like sitting by herself at my volleyball game or sporting event, and I would just be like, that poor woman, is no one being nice to her? Like, she just needs somebody to invite her. She's probably feeling left out. No. No. My mom's temperament is one that she does not need engagement, lots of engagement with people outside of her own family. And even then, engagement will drain her. So now I know when interacting with my mom, I won't push her past her limits. She doesn't need it. And I'm mindful of my needs, my family's needs as well. I now know how to engage with them in a much better and healthier way. And it has changed a lot of things. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah,
it does. And I was thinking about you as a teacher and how we both came out of the education system. And like you were saying, Shaniqua, if we knew the temperament of our students, it would change the way we teach. It would change the way we offer and approach education. So there are educational implications. I work in the corporate sector as well, and I help to consult with people on finding jobs that are appropriate for their temperament. So jobs that are going to be both personally fulfilling, but also that they will be productive and good at if they're good at. So there's corporate, work and career applications, teaching applications, of course, relationship applications. We've talked many times now about using temperament to decide on good relationships and how long-term relationships. And it just has implications in literally every area because it is every area of our lives. So again, I'm just excited to get to share all the different ways that we can use temperament because I just think it's fun and it helps clear things up. So
I chuckled when you said that because we have literally, she's very serious, y'all. We have had extended conversations about the importance of temperament as a tool for those who are dating. Think of it this way. Some of us are married who are watching and some of us are single. But if you had the opportunity to utilize a crucial tool that helps you know whether or not this person is going to be capable of meeting the needs that you have, or that you're going to be capable to meet your needs, wouldn't you want to have that tool so you could, make sure that you're actually not, one, wasting your time, and two, not making a commitment that's a lifetime commitment without all of the facts.
Right. When I was in school doing my coursework for temperament, my teacher had us to write one sentence of what we felt we were gaining from learning this information. And I kid you not, I said, I feel like I have X-ray vision now. And so the thought of going into something as important as marriage or parenting without using, if people want superpowers, we're offering a superpower. We're able to look through people and look through all of the things that we've had on us, like we said from the beginning, the clothes and the outfits and the things that we've put on over all the years. we can look past all of that and see the person, see straight into them and what they're going to need from now till forever. It would be foolish not to use it. If you have a superpower, it'd be like Superman not using his superpower, or, you know, all these superheroes that we know and love because they use their superpower for good. I feel like that's what we're doing. We are using our superpower for good. We have X-ray vision to see who people truly are and how we best can engage them, because it's not to use against them. It's not to manipulate them. It's actually to understand and to help them so that we're actually doing for them what they need.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my superpowers. So.
But we need to start giving our clients capes when they leave.
Yes. I feel like we should wear capes, and I feel like we should have like a group cape where we put capes on and like we bring them into the office. Right. Like walk-in music or like flying music. Yes. I feel like something's coming together here, girls. I don't know.
Anyone watching, they're thinking, oh gosh, all she needs is one extra thing.
Another idea. And you are Creative Counseling Solutions. So we may be adding some capes to our group.
Don't think I won't. And then the next, don't be surprised, guys. If Thursday got my nice little cape on.
I'm so down. Let's do
it.
I love it.
For now, what I want to do is, of course, thank you guys for joining us today and coming out, watching. For those of you who are going to watch the replay, again, feel free to post a comment in this thread. We will still be keeping up with it. You could also inbox us if you have anything that you need to ask us that's private. And our links are in the comments if you need to set up a time to either have your temperament assessment taken, or if you just have any type of situation that you want to be able to work through. We're more than happy to help. Absolutely. For now, we want to say goodnight, you know? Look, y'all are looking like you don't want to say goodnight.
I know, we will, but this has been fun, and I know it's only going to get more fun from here. So it's been a pleasure.
It's going to be great. And so we look forward to seeing you guys next Thursday. It's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Woo, I said that without messing it up.
You did it.
And next week, we will kind of delve in a little deeper by starting to break down the different temperament types. And who knows, maybe we'll share what our temperament.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll share that with the group.
Yeah.
But yes, we enjoyed our time with you guys. We want to thank you again for watching, and we will see you next week.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.